Hey guys, it's Adrian over BHA here, bringing you another video. So again, we're moving on with some more SwitchBot gear. So last week, we did the contact sensor, we did the motion sensor, and that meter plus, which is like temp humidity sensor. Well, this week, we're gonna take a look at the pan and tilt camera, as well as just our standard SwitchBot camera. Now these both work out great, and we can get them added into Home Assistant as well, a little bit differently, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Here we go. Like I said, today we're going to focus on the pan and tilt camera and that SwitchBot camera. Now both of these work pretty well just on their own, utilizing the SwitchBot app. But we're going to take a look at another way to do it, where we can get them set up in Home Assistant and be able to use that camera feed for automations and whatnot. So you can buy these directly from SwitchBot's website, or you can head over to Amazon and pick them up there as well in their SwitchBot Amazon storefront. You're definitely going to want to check these out. Alright, so let's do a quick run through of everything we're going to cover in this video. For starters, we will unbox both of the cameras. Once that's done, then we'll go through getting them added to the Tuya app. Yep, that's right, I said Tuya app. And that's kind of where the secret lies on getting them set up in Home Assistant. Once we have them added into the Tuya app, then we're going to kind of look at our config options within the app itself. After that, I'll kind of go through getting them added into Home Assistant, utilizing the tuya integration. And lastly, we will see what this looks like in action. So let's get started. Okay, so we did a video on this indoor cam a while back, and I'll have a link up in the corner if you want to check out that original video. But SwitchBot does a good job of marketing on the outside of the box, as you can kind of see here. As far as what you get on the inside, there's not a lot in here. This is a pretty small form factor box. But we got the instructions on how to get this thing set up. And of course you have the camera itself. There's also a standard kind of magnetic mount that you see on several of their devices. You also get a USB power cord, power brick, we got mounting screws, and some double stick tape in case you're not using the magnetic part of that mount. Now that's about all that comes in this box. Now as for the specs on this camera, the main things to note are that it's 1080p full HD camera. It has a 130-degree viewing area, and it also has a speaker and microphone which allow it to do two-way audio. So here we are opening up the pan tilt camera, which again, you see lots of information on the outside of the box. Opening this thing up, we got the camera itself. Then of course you're going to have your setup instructions. And then down here at the very bottom of this little box here, you have your USB power cord with a power brick. We got mounting screws. Along with the mounting bracket that kind of goes on the bottom here. But that's about all that you get inside the box. All right, so for the main technical specs on the PTZ camera, we got, let's see, field of view is 360 degrees horizontally and 115 degrees vertical. The video quality on this is 1080p. This does have a speaker and a microphone, so it will support that two-way audio. And of course, the storage will handle up to a 128 gig SD card. But that's about it for unboxing both the cameras. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step, and we will get these added into the Tuya app. Okay, so here we are in the Tuya app. As I kind of said before, this is something I just learned. Basically, these cameras are supported in the Tuya app. And therefore, if we add them to the Tuya app instead of the SwitchBot app, then we can utilize the Tuya integration and be able to view them in Home Assistant. So I thought this was a pretty cool feature. And of course, getting them in the Tuya app is pretty straightforward. So we are going to hit the plus up here in the top corner. We'll select Wi-Fi camera, and then you want to make sure that you put the device in pairing mode. So we are doing the indoor cam first. So we just have to hold that button down on the back until you see the LED blink on the front of the camera. So we'll hit next, and then you want to make sure your phone is connected to your home Wi-Fi and that it is 2.4 gigahertz, not 5 gigahertz. Once that's done, we can hit next, and then we're going to hold the QR code in front of the camera so that it will scan it, and then basically it should start connecting. It takes a minute or so, and there it is. We are good to go. So let's go ahead and give it a name. I'm going to call it Office Cam since that's where I will plan on using it. And boom, there it is. And since I have it mounted under my shelf in my office, I need to flip the screen because you can see it's kind of upside down, which I can do that in the settings. So we're going to go in there and we're looking for basic function settings. And we're just going to toggle flip screen, and then we should be good to go. Everything looks good. Let's go ahead and do that PTZ camera as well. Now it's basically going to be done the exact same way. We need to hit the plus in the top corner. We're going to choose Wi-Fi camera again. We'll have to put the camera in pairing mode, so we're going to hold that button down on the back of the camera. Because we already have it on the correct Wi-Fi, it's just going to go straight in. And just as before, we need to scan the QR code with the camera and start trying to connect to the device. And there it is. We can give it a name. For now, I'm just going to call this SwitchBot PTZ. And that's basically it. All the functionalities right here. If we want to pan the camera around, well, let's go ahead and move on to the next step, and I'll go over the config options in the Tuya app itself. All right, so looking at the various config options in the Tuya app for these two cameras, let's first look at the indoor cam. So if we hit the three dots up here in the top corner, right at the top, you got the name, and this is kind of where you can change it if you want to. We also have device information. Let's see, there is the ability to create automations with the cameras if we want to. There is private mode, so basically it turns off the camera so it can't be viewed. Basic function settings. Now we looked at this earlier, but you can disable the status indicator, which is that little light or LED on the front of the camera. We can flip the screen orientation, which we did that earlier. We have the ability to hide the camera feed time if we want. So if you don't want to see that time on the camera feed, we can turn that off. And then of course you can change the talk mode. So it defaults to one-way audio, but I'm going to change mine to two-way talk. Okay, let's see, we have IR night vision, which by default it's set to auto. So I'm going to probably leave that as auto for now. I think that's probably the best option. Detection alarm settings. So by default, motion detection alarm is on, which I kind of like that because it'll give me an alert or a push notification when that rolls through. For starters, the motion sensitivity is set to low, and I think that's probably a good place to begin. You also have the ability to adjust the activity area if you want to, as well as enable human body filtering. Let's see, if you don't want to receive alerts during certain times of the day, we can schedule these here. Other than that, let's see, we got offline notification. This will alert you if the camera has been offline for at least 30 minutes. So I definitely want to turn that on. But that pretty much covers it. Here is the actual full screen camera feed here. Sorry for the mess in the office there. But it's got a pretty good little camera. I definitely feel like this camera is comparable to say maybe a Wise Cam, and they pretty much run about the same price, so it kind of makes sense. Next up, we got the PTZ camera. We're going to kind of do the same thing here. So going into settings up in the top corner, we have all the same setting options. We could change the name of the camera if we need to. There is the device information. You also have the ability to create automations just like with the other camera. We have private mode for disabling the camera, and then of course basic function settings. Everything is pretty much the same in here as well. I'm going to go ahead and set the talk mode to two-way talk. One thing that is different, because this is a PTZ camera, you have the ability to calibrate the camera if we needed to. I'm not going to do that now, but it takes about 30 seconds. IR night vision. So again, this defaults to audio. I'm going to leave it that way. Sounds. This is where you can adjust the volume of sounds and stuff that come out of the speaker that's built into the camera. Interestingly enough, I say interesting, it's kind of strange, it maxes out at 10%. So you can move that bar all the way over, and instead of it being 100%, it's 10%. I'm not quite sure if they meant to do it that way or not. Detection alarm settings. This is where you get your notifications for motion. But since this is a PTZ camera, we also have the ability to enable motion tracking. So I definitely want that turned on. So if it sees motion, it will follow it around since it has that ability. Other than that, let's see, preset point. So you can have some default positions that the camera goes to. It looks like there's 4 settings there, so you can set 4 different ones. That's kind of cool. Offline notification, I'm going to enable that in case my camera goes offline. And that's pretty much it as far as what you get. Here's a full screen viewing of the camera, and it has really good mobility. This thing easily moves back and forth however you need it to. It does an awesome job with that, and covers everything pretty well. The motion tracking on top of everything else is really going to make this thing awesome. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step, and we will get these cameras added into Home Assistant. So as always, adding devices into Home Assistant using the tuya integration is super easy, especially since we already have the tuya integration set up. All we have to do is go down to where the integration is in that integration section in Home Assistant, and we're just going to hit those three dots and do a reload. Now once we do that, we should then be able to open up the integration and find the newly added devices. Now if we look through here, there's the office cam. That's the SwitchBot indoor cam that we just added. And you can see all the things that you can do with it from within Home Assistant. So all those features that we were looking at in the settings of the tuya app are actually able to be updated right here in Home Assistant as well. That's pretty awesome. And if we click on the camera here, we can look at the live feed of the camera. Everything looks pretty good there as well. Let's see, if we go back all the way to the device list, let's look for the SwitchBot PTZ. And as you can see, it has all those same capabilities as well. My main dislike with this setup is there's no way to control the PTZ functionality of this camera. I'm not really sure why, but there is just not any control features for pan, tilt, or zoom. At least not as far as I can figure out. You can view the camera feed, but that's about it. Let's move on to the last step and I'll kind of give you my final thoughts. Alright, so here we are in the Loveless dashboard of Home Assistant, and I've added both the cameras using the picture glance card. It allows me to run the live feed of the camera right here on the dashboard. Everything looks really good, and like I already said, the price on these cameras is pretty awesome. So having the ability to get them added in a Home Assistant is definitely a plus. Again, my downside on the PTZ is not having the PTZ functionality working in Home Assistant, but hopefully someone will figure that out before too long. In the meantime, if you're interested in these SwitchBot devices, check out the links in the description below. Otherwise, head over to SwitchBot's website and see all of the other devices that they offer. I guarantee you'll find something you're interested in.
I'd like to thank everybody for donating to my Buy Me a Coffee link. Every little bit helps. If you haven't had a chance, head over to my spring merchandise page and check out all of the Burns home automation merchandise. And if you're interested in the latest smart home gear, check out Smonet. I'll have a link in the description below. If you head over there, you can kind of see what deals they currently have running. And if you're interested in buying and selling stock or maybe cryptocurrency, check out Robinhood. I'll have a link in the description below for them as well. And if you sign up with that link, you and I both will get a free share of stock. It's a win-win for both of us. If you like the video, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comments below. As always, if there are any videos out there that you would like to see that I don't already have out there, let me know in the comments as well, and I'll see if I can't get something put together for you guys. Otherwise, I'll see you guys around.